Today we're going to take a close look at Amazon's best-selling 4-channel car audio amplifier and find out if it's really worth all the hype. Let's check it out. No, not Recoil, but Recoil Audio, and their $87 DI550.4 is the best seller on Amazon, so we figured out we had to get one, and let's check it out so you can find out what it's all about. According to the box, 80 watts by 4 at 4 ohms or 120 by 4 at 2 ohms. We'll talk about that more as we get into the ratings and the specs and all that good stuff. Let's get it unboxed and see what we get. First off, we get the mounting screws. That's right, for mounting the amplifier, make sure it doesn't slide around in your car. Also, we got this nice little goodie bag here of spade connectors for the inputs. That makes it really nice for your wiring. Also, we have the owner's manual, which covers several different models of the DI product line, monoblock, 2 channels, 4 channels, and etc. Specs include Class D 4-channel amplifier, 4-way protection circuitry, high-speed MOSFET power supply, input sensitivity adjustable from 0.35 up to 7 volts, frequency response 10 Hz to 30 kHz, signal-to-noise ratio 95 dB, and bridgeable. First up here on the amp on the left, you'll see the power connections. These are screw-down terminals and accept spade-style connectors for power, ground, and remote. To the right of that, we have 25 amp fuses, ATC style. The manual does say 60 amps of fusing, so a little bit of difference there. As we move down the amplifier, we'll see the screw-down terminals also for the speaker outputs. Channels 1 through 4, this amplifier is bridgeable down to 2 channels. Also, we'll do 3 channels as well. All of the terminals except standard number 2 Phillips screwdriver, so very simple with that. On the opposite side of the amplifier, we have the inputs as well. Some other things, including the RCA inputs for low or high level. If you want to use high level, you have to make your own because it is not included. Also, we have an input level button to switch between preamp inputs and speaker level inputs. Should also note with the RCAs, channels 1 and 2 are vertical, not horizontal. I made that mistake in the beginning. Also, we have channels 1 and 2 settings, including the gain, high-pass filter from 0 to 300 Hz. Also, we have channels 3 and 4 settings, which include a gain, the crossover for low pass, full, or high pass, and again, the frequency 50 Hz up to 300 Hz. And finally, on the right, we have 2 LEDs for alarm and run, which we assume is protect and on. As for the size, I would consider this a mini amp, not a micro amp, and we're going to show here in a minute the dimensions, but the biggest thing here that gets in the way are the terminals on one end. The screw-down terminals do kind of stick out. They don't give you these dimensions, but I'm giving you the full dimensions, including the terminals, 8 inches wide by 6 inches long by 1 7/8 inches high. Now, of course, we're going to fire up the SMD Demore Engineering Amplifier Dyno so we can test the true output power of this amp. And if you haven't seen these tests before, on the left, you'll see the power output in watts. In the middle, the ohm load. On the right is the voltage of the dyno. We'll also have the remote clamp so that we can estimate this amplifier's efficiency. First up, we're going to do 4-channel test. 2 channels will be wired to the dyno. The other 2 will be wired to resistors. It's rated 80 watts by 4 at 14.4. Let's try it. 1 kilohertz is the test tone. The certified test takes us up to 1% distortion. Can we get the 80 watts by 4? And yes, right at it. 82 watts by 4 at 14.25 volts. Let's reset the dyno here and do the dynamic track. We won't show the uncertified or clipping track. You'll see why when we get to the results. And here you go, right around that 80 watts that it promises, literally right at it at 14.34 volts. Now for the 2 ohm measurements, it's kind of weird because the box says 120 by 4. The manual says 130 by 4. Let's go with the lower number here. Certified, 1% distortion, and we don't get either one. We got 108 times 4, 14.16. We're a little bit shy of that 14.4. So given the 14.4, I think it does right at 120 by 4 as it's rated. Dynamically, here you can see we're over 130 watts times 4, so it definitely does the numbers dynamically. Now let's bridge the amplifier down to 2 channels because it does support 2-channel, 3-channel, or 4-channel operation. 4 ohms is rated 240 watts by 2 according to the box, 260 by 2 according to the manual and the website. We'll go 240 by 2. Here we go. Certified to 1% distortion, 1 kilohertz, and We don't quite get the 240 by 2, but again, our voltage is just a little bit shy of 14.4. We get about 228 by 2. So that's so close, we'll just give it a pass. Uncertified up to clipping. Can we get the 240 by 2? Hold your breath. And no, 229. So close, 14.18 though. Again, we're 0.2 of a volt short. So given that 0.2 of a volt, we could have gotten the rated power. It's just unusual that they rated it so close. Recoil usually gives us a little bit of headroom, but there you have it. Dynamically sending the 1 kilohertz pulse track, you see we get well over 280 watts times 2. Here are all the results, including the efficiency. Efficiency is good in the high 80s at 4 ohms and in the mid 70s at 2 ohms or 4 ohms bridged. Stay tuned to the very end of the video if you want to see some additional tests. Just so you guys know, the edited video at the end doesn't always show the exact order of how I do things. I typically listen to items like the amplifier and the speakers before I do the additional tests. That way I kind of have an idea of what I think it sounds like before I find out how much power it puts out, things like that. So just to let you know, depending on wherever this is in the video, I did do the sound test before I did the dyno test. With all that said, let's go ahead and get it wired up so we can give it a sound quality test and let you guys hear what it sounds like on your phone speakers probably. Use headphones if you can, or high quality speakers. It gives a better representation of actually what's coming through. But again, it's YouTube compression, so it is what it is. Let's give it a listen. Let's power on the amp to see if we have any turn on thump. Okay, no turn on thump. Let's try turn off. No turn on thump, no turn off thump. Very nice. Here I have the Recoil 4-channel all hooked up and powered on. Just want to let you guys know, I do have my ELAC bookshelf speakers hooked up first to test. And for visual display only is the Craig EQ. I only have RCAs going in. I don't have any speaker coming out of here. So this just for visuals. That's all. Nothing here is actually powering anything with the system. I'm just taking one of the RCAs out of my head unit here and going into the Craig just to give you some extra visuals.
Roll the windows down. Yeah. Sun hitting that dash, just ride. 96 in the deck, let it ride, let it ride.
Got that Alpine glow, green lights on the face. Sony in the
Sparkmatic. Iconic static. Bass so manic. You can't handle Sparkmatic. Turn the key, let's take a ride. Sparkmatic. Feel the pride. Subwoofer stomp, the bass won't hide. Best sound system nationwide.
The way this one works is the outer terminals are for bridging. This is the positive on the left side, negative is on the right side. Let's see if we can get the speaker hooked up properly. And for this test, we'll be using a Sundown Audio SA 6.5-inch subwoofer wired at 4 ohms. All right, let's see if this Recoil amp can make this subwoofer flex. Let's try the Space Age Hustle. Doubtful many people will be using this for bass, but just to show it actually does work and not too bad. Now let's take a closer look inside of this tiny Recoil audio amplifier and find out what it's all about. Just 4 screws hold on the bottom panel, then you can see the mini guts here. See the transformer there, some caps. Also you see the inductors there for the outputs. And there's the main audio driver there in the very center. We'll get to that here in just a minute. First off, let's look at the capacitors. 3300 microfarad, 16 volts there for the input filtering. And here they are, the Yuscon, which is not a very high quality brand, is what it is. And for the outputs, we have 35 volt, 1500 microfarad cap tops. Again, not very good quality, but we don't expect so in such an inexpensive amplifier. Now, the main source here, the IRS 2093M, is the Class D 4-channel amplifier that's built into this. And yes, this does everything. The PWM modulation, the protection logic, the MOSFET drivers, everything built into this. Very cool overall, and that's why these are so inexpensive. And they use these actually in home theater receivers and stuff like that now as well, the Class D chips. Now let's move on to the pros and cons, the things I like, the things I think that could be better, at least the things to be aware of. First off, it's inexpensive, currently under $100, 2, 3, or 4 channel output, has a small footprint, easily accessible fuses, high or low level inputs. It includes the connectors for the power terminals, which is nice, and it sounds pretty good overall. With no complaints from me from the sound quality. What about things that could be better? It requires 4 channels of input. There is no switch for 2 channels of input. The screw down terminals make it stick out of the end of the amp. No Tiffany RCAs. It has plain looks. The 2 ohm ratings and 4 ohm bridge ratings confusion. I'm not sure why it's up with that. Also, there's no high level input adapters included. So at under $90 at the time of this video, the DI550.4 offers a great bit of performance to price ratio. And if you're on extreme budget, don't have much money, want to upgrade your system, need a 4-channel amp, check out the DI550.4. Now, this amp may be discontinued soon because they have a DII line, which is a newer version. And that one has a lot more features and actually is water resistant and much better looking overall. But for now, Amazon has this one as the best seller. That's why I wanted to check it out. And I can see why, kind of, for the price. I think you're getting a lot. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Till next time, this is Big D. I'm out of here. Let's try this mini Recoil at 2 ohms bridged, 1 kilohertz, certified to 1% distortion. It's not rated for 2 ohm bridge loads. Let's see what it does. All right, so it went into protect and it came out really quickly. So I went ahead and stopped the test. Not recommended for 2 ohms bridge loads. Again, we just try these things sometimes just for you guys. But would not do this in real life. It's a tiny amp. You don't want to push it too hard anyway. Just for fun, we will try 2 ohms dynamic burst, 2 ohms bridge that is. The amplifier is not rated 2 ohms bridge or 1 ohm stereo. We're going to try it anyway. Dynamic 1 kilohertz. Here we go. Wow. There you go. Over 430 watts per channel, 14.15 volts.